Thank you, Reverend Amina, for that. Uh, so let's start with the mission statement. Inspire is a spiritual community of like-minded souls committed to walking our talk in joyous fellowship by demonstrating the power of love, compassion, and non-judgment every day in every way. Recognizing the divinity of all life, we stand united by actively liberating humanity by healing judgment, fear, and shame within ourselves. Our intention to create world peace, piece by piece. Woohoo! And now it's my pleasure to welcome Unique Maurice as he performs his video performance. Thank you. Take it away.
Hello, everyone. It's nice to be here. I'm glad to be here and Inspire. It's always a great pleasure. I have gratitude just to be able to be here in the platform and be able to sing for you guys. So the song that I performed is called Extraordinary Beings. And I feel like that is a perfect song for where we're at in our lives, letting us know that we are perfectly extraordinary because we were created by all. Thank you.
Hey, yeah. You are a God imagined. You are a true perfection. You are made of stars. Don't let nobody tell you different. You got a lot of soul mixed with a lot of magic. You got a heart turns gold every time you dance it. You deserve all the love. Why don't you let it in? Don't punish who you are for once who you have been. You got a heart of fire. You gotta take it higher. You gotta flow. You gotta low. You gotta go. That you're an extraordinary being. Yes, you're an extraordinary being. See, your anatomy is made up of those before you. Oh, that's the history. You're standing upon your shoulders. See, you're a China. Getting too high for cowards. You are flying up. Check out your superpowers. You deserve peace and love. You deserve all the laughter. You are one of a kind. You deserve happy ever after. You deserve all the changes. Feel your hearts ablazing. Yo, you gotta see, you gotta believe that you're an extraordinary being. Yes, you're an extraordinary being. Yes, you're an extraordinary being. Yes, you're an extraordinary being. It's not your fault that you're magic, that your face was fantastic. Like the love, like the ocean. Sing your song and be searching. If the world kicks you to zero, spread your wings like an eagle and raise your head to the sun and know you are someone, 'cause you're an extraordinary being. Yes, you're an extraordinary being. That's right. Yes, you're an extraordinary being.
Unique Maurice. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Beautiful. Absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much for that gorgeous affirmation. Just what we need to remember the truth of who we are. Thank you. So now we're going to move ahead with our main talk, Dueling Ministers with Reverend Jesse and Reverend Candace. And as we get going, Reverend Jesse, would you please tell us a little bit about Dueling Ministers? How does this work? What does it mean?
Sure. So the dueling ministers is a concept we came up with years back, and we thought it would sort of be a fun way to demonstrate how mind works, how spirit works. And so what we decided to do is have a platform where two teachers share one message without preparing the message together before time. So we just simply allow spirit to work through us. And we divided it up in little segments. So one minister will speak for 8 minutes, then the next minister will speak for 8 minutes, and then I think it goes 5, 5, and then 3 and 3 in minutes and lengths of time. And the only rule is that when you hear like the bell ring, you have to stop, and the other minister picks up where you left off. And so what always happens is a really fun, we never know where it's going to go, but what we do know for sure is that what results is a really beautiful, layered conversation about the topic at hand. And it's a great demonstration of the power of one-mindedness, the existence of it. So I think it's proof perfect that we're all one mind, and that though it comes to different vessels, different voices, that the truth is the truth is the truth. And this is a wonderful way to just hear different perspectives on that universal truth that love is. So today's topic is live and give in an abundant universe. We're going to be talking about prosperity. And what a gift to be able to talk on this topic with a master prosperity teacher, Reverend Candace G, who has been living these teachings for years and has so much to offer, not just from research, trial and error, living it, falling flat on her face, picking herself back up, doing it again, as we all do, the best way to learn. But now this is what we have in Reverend Candace, is a teacher that embodies these principles. And I look so forward to hearing what you have to share. Would you like to begin the conversation, Reverend, or would you like to go second? It's completely up to you.
Totally open. You go. I'm good.
All right, you are good. You are good. So, I believe Reverend Amina, you're going to be the keeper of the time, the keeper of the chime, if you will. And if you want to just, when time comes up, you can just put it in the chat so I'll see it and shut up. Because if you know me, you know that I will just continue to talk and talk and talk until someone tells me to shut up. But I can call that inspiration. So are we ready to go?
Yeah, I can even let the chime play if you prefer.
Sure, whatever.
Okay, let's do it.
Great. So live and give in an abundant universe. You know, I am someone who loves to keep it simple. I truly believe that wisdom lies in simplicity, and that often we overcomplicate things by trying to develop new theories or reach out to grasp really like abstract concepts, because there is a narrative in our culture that tells you that if it's complicated, then it's right, because we often bow to the altar of the intellect. But the truth is, it's very simple. The truth is very simple. Prosperity is very simple. Health, beauty, is very simple. And it all comes down to truly for us, what story are you telling yourself about the topic at hand? What story are you telling yourself about the topic at hand? So when I really think about prosperity and abundance, I'm glad that we're talking about this now, because this has been the focus of my entire spiritual practice this year to date, has been a practice of prosperity. And I truly feel that my ministry, my living ministry, has become a living ministry of prosperity. And in order to really embody this and transform my relationship with prosperity, I had to look at the stories I was telling myself about what it means to prosper, truly prosper. What is prosperity? And I think that we all have a fabulous teacher in money and finance, because it's a relevant experience that most of us share. That we have this beautiful display of currency that so many of us equate to our wealth, and so many equate to our value, which we know it's just simply a symbol. But what I notice in many spiritual circles is that we still have old religious guilt and judgment around money, that there's something almost shameful of it. It's the love of money. There's something bad about that. But how I've started to look at money is very similar to how I look at crystals and prayer beads and all of the fabulous things that many of our spiritual people think are very spiritual things, incense and things like that. These are tools that support me in aligning with my highest, holiest self. Well, I've just simply decided to allow money to be just as spiritual as crystals. And it's something that supports me in aligning with my highest, holiest self. And why does it get to be that? Because it's the story I'm telling myself about it. There is no shame in loving money. There's nothing bad about it. There's nothing unspiritual about money. Money is just as spiritual as the Buddha statue that you put in your living room. It's just as spiritual as any other thing. It's as spiritual as the center that you go practice your meditation and yoga in. Money, and how do you think those things were built? Through the currency of money. What a wonderful thing. And so I really got to look at the story I was telling myself about money, and what it requires to get it, and who I have to be to get it, and the story about the people who have a lot of it. And so this last year, I've really done a deep dive at looking at the narratives that I've been holding on tightly about wealthy people, about wealthy trust fund babies, about all of it. And I know that there's a charge around the story that I have about it if it makes me feel bad, or if I go immediately into judgment about something. A wonderful case in point, and this was such an awesome barometer for me, it was a deep healing, is that my employer, my current boss, who is the loveliest woman on the planet, is extremely wealthy. She's extremely wealthy, millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars. And so her children are children of privilege, and they've had every opportunity to go to amazing schools. They haven't had to work. They could do what they wanted to do to build their craft. And her son, during COVID, who didn't have to work, got to stay at his mom's beautiful home, is a musician and an artist, and he kind of blew up during COVID. And in the span of 1 year, he's had his song that he wrote broke records for staying at #1 on top Billboard charts for 16 weeks. He's working with Lil Nas, he's working with Lizzo, he's working with all these people because he released it was like a TikTok or YouTube video that went viral, and now he's all over the place. And the reason that he was able to do it is because he had the support and means of a family of wealth to allow him to just focus on his music and his art, and that's what he got to do. Now, my unhealed mind would go into such judgment about that before. Oh, well, of course he gets to do it. It's easy for him. He had every opportunity to do it. He didn't have to work hard. He didn't have to work 3 jobs. He didn't have to do this and this and this, and then be able to focus on his art if he wanted to. And I know that story used to be in my mind. But what was wonderful is that I think I might be this guy's biggest fan. I am so excited for him and all the new opportunities that are coming into his life, and all the people that he gets to work with, and all the art he gets to create. And I thought, oh my God, I've really healed something in me. And it is so freeing to not be resentful towards people who manifest easily, who don't believe in limitation, who just expect the best to happen for themselves. That is prosperity, to be in a mindset of gleeful expectation. I expect this to work because why wouldn't it work? Of course it's going to work. And then I remembered this lesson that I've actually taught before that I easily forget, about how we are all the prodigal sons. We are all trust fund babies because we are all children of the divine. We are made of stardust. We are made of the same stuff of the creative presence in the universe. And God by nature expands. And the only will God has for our life is for us to be happy. And so by nature, that means we expand. And we know if we are in alignment with our true self, if we are happy. So our emotions are these wonderful guides to support us in knowing if we are in alignment or not with our true self. Because if we are not feeling joyful, then we are not in alignment with who and what we are. And the only reason we do not feel joyful or peaceful is because we are believing a story that simply isn't true. Is that about, I feel like I'm about to be deep. So when it comes to prosperity, when it comes to abundance, you must ask yourself, what do I believe? What thoughts do I have? What stories am I telling? What belief systems are active in my mind about prosperity, abundance, health, beauty, wealth, that I am not asking if it is true? What brings me peace? And am I more willing to prioritize my peace of mind, which will then naturally result in prosperity expressing itself in my life? Or am I more invested in fear, in being miserable, in being resentful? And this is the question of the spiritual practitioner, the spiritual student, is, am I more willing to be happy or upset? In any given moment, we get to ask ourselves this over and over and over again, and this is how we heal. A Course in Miracles has said, all healing is done at the level of the mind, which means that when our mind is healed, then in the world truly is our oyster. I feel complete, so I'm going to actually hand the baton over to Reverend Candace.
Perfect. The timer just dinged, but I don't know if it heard. So here you go. Thank you, Reverend Candace.
Good morning, everyone. Yes, because we do live in an abundant universe, but each of us have to be able to prove that principle to ourselves. And as Reverend Jesse just said, you have to ask yourself, what is it? What is prosperity really? What is abundance really? It's a sense of health and well-being, your place in the world, right relationships in all of their forms, including money, including health, all of it. It encompasses all of it. And you notice that what Reverend Jesse just said, it isn't in us, it is us. We are that. We are an expression of that. But we have to know that for ourselves, and it's unique to each one of us. And so our journeys are unique, our unfoldment is unique, and how we come into alignment with what prosperity and abundance is and how we can demonstrate it in our life. And I find, I'm a practical person, so I like practical tools. I don't like complicated stuff. It is simple. And a couple of the great practical tools: gratitude, forgiveness, gratitude, forgiveness. Gratitude, just be grateful that you woke up another day because you are here to shine and radiate whatever your perception, conception, or knowing is of the presence of what we call God, of what is love itself, of what is life, of what is the divine, whatever it is what we are. So we start there and we give thanks for it every single day and every single opportunity that we have to grow and wake up, to shed that lie, that old story, and that old tape that's been going on inside of our mind that is a lie, trying to pretend like it's some sort of important thing when it really isn't. And then we forgive. What do we forgive? Well, we forgive any misperception. We forgive people for other things. We forgive ourselves for mistakes because we all screw up, let's face it. And that's the good news. We're all in this together. But here's the thing about forgiveness. We are vibratory beings. we are energy. And when we forgive, we are unbinding ourselves from the lie of separation, the lie that's been telling us you're not enough, you don't have enough, and all this garbage. And as I say to people, I have no issue with money and receiving or whatever. I expect a good life. I expect with joy, with gratitude. And there's a humility in that gratitude. I don't expect it from a place of arrogance. I expect it from a place of my own knowing, of being able to prove this principle over and over and over again. Even when I have fallen down, even when I stumble, you just get back up, you just dust yourself off, and you just keep on stepping, and you watch. You keep yourself open, and that's the key. You got to keep that heart open. You can't allow it to clam shut. And we do that through our gratitude practice. We do that through our prayer and meditation work, being in fellowship, studying, being in a feeling tone of life. And I think this is really important because, you know, as we mature spiritually, we drop the need to make anything be about anyone other than ourselves, right? We've taken dominion over our thoughts, our actions, our reactions to things. And now we realize, oh, hey, no person, place, or thing can stop this prosperity and abundance from flowing from me except me. And so we get to breathe and relax. We get to get out of the way. We get to move over and just allow again, once again, through the breath. Okay, I got it. Keep forward, keep on stepping, keep moving forward. And it's a really wonderful thing to be able to do and to be. And we get to be and do this over and over and over again. So our first work is to be loving with ourselves, to be grateful that you're here because you have something that you are abundant in. There's something you're here to do. You're here to sing a song, to dance that dance, to write that poem, to write the check, whatever it is, you're here to be able to do that because there's something so wonderful and unique about you. So we just keep it simple. And I think one of the other things that it requires of us when we're looking at ourselves honestly is to take our attention out of all that outer stuff, all of that stuff that's constantly coming in that we're being bombarded with. If you don't drive that and you don't look like this and you're not doing that, that's fine. That's fine for other people, but where's your attention? And it's fine to have all those things, by the way. I know people, millions and millions and tens, just as Rev Jesse just said, and they're loving and they're generous. But this is the thing, we all are. And so you have to know what wealth really is, okay? When you're rich, you have a lot of cash, but when you're wealth, you have the wisdom and the integrity to know what to do with what you have. And then you build upon that. This is what we get to do in the life journey. We're building upon building block upon building block upon building block, meaning principles. We demonstrate the principles through our practices. And so if we have a misstep, it's okay. We just take another breath, we get still, we've tuned out all of the outer stuff that goes on in here, by the way. And we've said, you know what, I can do this. I can sing that song. I can write that check. I am prosperous. I am abundant. So this is a wonderful thing. And I think that, you know, something has your name on it. What is it? What is that? Ask yourself what that is. What gift are you sharing? Do you want to share here? How are you being generous and generative in your life? One of the things that excites me about our teaching is that we are generative beings. Prosperity comes from the inside out. We generate it through our vibration. We generate it through our practice. We generate it through a smile, through being kind, through being forgiving, for being loving. We get to generate this. And you know, as we do it, guess what happens? It expands and it expands and it expands and it expands. And now we have more to give. And now we are receiving more, we're giving more, we're receiving more. So there's a reciprocity that is taking place, you know, as we get to do this work. And I think it's really exciting. And so what I would say today is just, if you've got a story in there, you got to make peace with that. because that's the garbage that goes through the human mind. But as we take a breath and just continue, as we continue to know inside of us that there's something special and wonderful about us from a place of love and gratitude and humility, we have so much to give. I have no concept of time either, and I feel complete with that. So I'll pass it back to Jesse.
And I'll receive it because I am open to receive. I am grateful to receive. And one of my favorite, I don't know if it's a saying or a phrase in New Thought or metaphysics, is that we are each a unique expression of the divine. And as a unique expression, I really feel that to be true. Unique in the sense that our experiences that turn us on in life are all different. And so our expression of prosperity will all be different and beautiful and colorful. Somebody may feel like true wealth is having a trailer in Malibu that is by the beach that they can walk to and living very simply. And to someone else, that might seem like a nightmare. So we fall into a tendency of comparison or forgetting to ask ourselves, is it true? We are inundated often with ads and images and a narrative that certain people want us to believe that make us feel like this is aspirational. This is what wealth is. This is what prosperity is. This is what freedom looks like. But as spiritual students, we know that freedom is peace of mind. Freedom is an awareness of your true self. And as we become aware of our limitless potential, just by being limitless beings, prosperity is our natural expression. It's our natural state. And what that means is we have the freedom to express freely, which is a powerful and wonderful thing, to do so without self-inflicted judgment, to do so without the fear of what others may think. And we get to this space through the beautiful practice of forgiveness, which is the ability to see the innocence of the divine reflected back to us, no matter who is standing in front of us. We set free those that I call our hostages, which are anyone that we expect to act a certain way so we can feel good. We release anyone from the obligation of needing to be anything other than who they are. So we can be ourselves. We can be free to be ourselves. And in that freedom, do we experience naturally prosperity for us? Because trust me, there are people living in mansions that are riddled with financial fear. And there are people living in studios downtown that are the most prosperous, free people you've ever met. It really is an inner experience that is prosperity. Removing our judgments and opinions that don't serve us, anything that makes us feel bad, makes us feel upset, makes us feel wrong or bad. True prosperity is a result of understanding our worth, knowing that we do not need to do anything to be worthy of love. There is not one thing we need to prove or earn or do. We do not have to work hard. We do not have to sacrifice. Those are all illusions created by the world. And they're just not true. So when we free ourselves of this, it may seem crazy. Most people who have built their lives upon these ideas and principles will think you've lost your mind. And the truth is, you haven't lost your mind, you've opened it. I've opened it. Just a few months ago, I've decided to let go of all of the news apps on my phone and all the social media apps on my phone because they weren't bringing me joy. They were causing me to go into judgment and separation. And I was having experiences that didn't feel good. I was seeing my brothers and sisters as something other than what they are, perfectly innocent. I was allowing myself to get sucked into narratives, and I was always on the defense. I was always anxious. I was always outraged. And it wasn't doing a damn thing for my peace of mind. And so people might say, well, you're burying your head in the sand. And I say, willingly. I am burying my head in the sand to anything that does not lift me up and inspire me and feed my heart, because I know that what I focus on, I get more of, which is why gratitude is the most powerful practice any of us can have. Write down every morning what you are grateful for. Focus on the blessings that are in your life and watch them multiply and grow and expand. Prosperity is an inner experience. It's a state of well-being. It's a state of peace that we get to experience through being through the practice of loving discipline. And when I say loving discipline, I mean discipline of our mind.
Yeah.
Is that my time? That's my time? All right, I can leave there. Remember, Candace?
It is a practice of loving discipline, and it's not a discipline that is difficult, but it's a discipline that requires, again, bringing your attention back to yourself in a kind, compassionate, tender way. And really, in that kind and compassionate and tender way, there's a fierceness and a boldness in that, because you're taking a stand for love for you. You're taking a stand for your highest and your best in being an abundant being, of being a generative being, of allowing it to allowing yourself to have the experience of prosperity. And I think, one of the things that's really good to be within yourself too is what turns you on, what floats your boat, what things make you excited to participate in and do that you're really good at. Start there with your gratitude and your praise of what it is you can do that is really unique, that other people, see, this is the thing. We all, as I said before, we all have something that's unique to us. And I cannot do you. I can't do you and you can't do me. But what I can do with myself is I can ask myself every day, what is it that wants to come out today for you? What is it that you want to generate today? And it tells me, because I'm listening and I'm writing, I'm listening to the inner aspect of myself, my spirit. And as I be obedient to that, that is my inner discipline of being obedient to that voice. Then my day takes its shape. Things are good, and even if there's a moment of upset, even if something happens, the course correction is so quick because my attention is on myself and what it is I want to do today and how I want to generate this field, this vibration of goodness and of wholeness. And I think that is something, at least for me, that is really important that I stay on in my loving discipline. So, there is no quote unquote right or wrong. It must be proved by you for you. Whatever it is must come out of you. But as we are willing to surrender our opinions and our judgments, and this, as I call the garbage that goes through the mind, as we just let go of that, and even if it is there from time to time, instead of grabbing onto it, just allow it to pass through your awareness, like clouds when they move in the sky. It's moving, and we don't have to attach ourselves to it. We just let it go. We see it, we observe it. Okay, because that's not true. It's a lie that's trying to get in there to have you attached to it. But when you don't, and you just stay in the abundance and in the knowing, you get new ideas. Inspiration comes to you. There's a new way and a new way of doing and being in how you generate abundance and prosperity and how it shows up for you. And that is a wonderful way that we get to stay in joy with our lives and be in harmony with our spirit, is because of those things that come out of you, those inspirations that you have, those insights that you receive, those revelations. When you have those and you're like, you know what, I haven't tried it that way, I'm going to do that. When we do that, things just continue to get better and better and better. And then we get to experience the more that life has to offer, because the whole of it is within us, all of it. all of the riches, all of the abundance, all of the wonder and the creativity and the beauty. We haven't been denied any of it. But how open is our heart? How accepting are we? How loving are we to ourselves first and to other people? How much are we practicing that? Because when we do that, things open, and we've all heard, when one thing closes, something else opens. It's true, which means that as we close the door, so to speak, to our own inner negative voice, as we close the door to those that do not serve us and support us, and as we open ourselves up to more of the divine ideas to flow through us, we get the goodies, we experience the abundance and the prosperity. And we learn from other people who are modeling it. People that are walking in it, that are living in it. The people that I know that are multimillionaires they're wonderful people, I have to tell you. And I've known that for a very long time, but I learned that early on, that all of the stuff I had going on was all lies. They're generous, they're wonderful. So it isn't about what you have in the bank, it's what you have in your spiritual bank. Okay, and you have to know that your spiritual bank is full to overflowing, and that it's a gaining interest over and over and over again. Jesse, back to you.
All right, I'm going to share a couple things. I was debating on whether or not to read something, and I'm going to. So, Ma bless, I'm going to break the rules, and just let me finish reading this, and then we'll do it. So first, I'd like to share a prayer. This is the 3rd step prayer from Alcoholics Anonymous. You can find it anywhere online if you just remember the 3rd step prayer. And my husband and I say this every morning after our meditation, and it's really developed into something powerful for me. So I'd like to share it with you. It says, God, I offer myself to thee to build with me and do with me as thou wilt. Relieve me of the bondage of self, that I may better do thy will. Take away my difficulties, that victory over them may bear witness to those I may help of thy power, thy love, and thy way of life. May I do thy will always. Amen. And when you look at it from the perspective of God's will is simply your perfect happiness. May I do thy will always. May I be happy always. May I expand always. Take away, relieve me of the bondage of self, which is simply the thoughts and the thinking of the world that would tell me that I am anything other than perfect, whole, and complete. Remove anything that would tell me that I'm anything other than I am. All the thoughts that would wreak havoc for my peace of mind, take those away now, that I may better do thy will. Let my life be a living demonstration of the power of living in alignment, so that others can see my life as a demonstration and say, I'm going to prioritize happiness and peace as well. So I invite you to really kind of take a look at that prayer. I think it's really powerful. I also would like to read you the Prosperity Creed. And again, I'm going to go a little over. You got to let me, Mobilus, I'm sorry. I swear it's worth it. It's going to be worth it. But I'd like everybody listening now to place a hand on your heart and repeat after me. And you can even tap on your heart a little bit so that you really receive this. I see and feel myself as a vessel of divine light. You repeat it after me. I see and feel myself as a vessel of divine light. I forgive and I am forgiven. I am loved and lovable. I see and feel myself as worthy. I see and feel myself as enough. I see and feel myself as powerful and able. I see and feel myself as joyous, peaceful, healthy, prosperous, successful, and loved. That's the Prosperity Creed from A Course in Prosperity by Jacob Glass. Fabulous book. I can't recommend it enough. And I'm just going to read you it's a 60-day book on prosperity. And I'm just going to read you day 1 together, and then I'll end there. Day 1, I feel rich. Feeling is the one and only medium through which ideas are conveyed to the subconscious mind. We want you to say this right out loud to yourself and try it on for size. Go ahead and say it. I feel rich. That's right. Say it over and over again, particularly if it feels awkward or uncomfortable, or you have resistance to it. Say it until it begins to delight you and get your energetic valves opening up so that the life energy can flow through with ease and increasing speed. There are multimillionaires in your culture who feel financially terrified and who inside are still that child who were already close to school and lived in fear most days because their needs were barely being met or were not met. They might not admit it, but they feel impoverished much more than they actually feel rich. Many of them would scoff if you told them they were rich. They think those other people over there are rich, but not them. But you can feel rich even if you don't have a single dime in the bank and own little more than the clothes on your back. Rich is not a fact, it's a feeling. Catch the feeling and you're already home. Remember, there is never anyone to convince but yourself of anything, really. You are simply convincing your own subconscious mind to manifest whatever it is that you want to be, do, or have. When the subconscious mind is on board, it is a done deal. You need never sell anyone else on anything ever again. You are only ever selling yourself on what you want, and you do it, and you don't do it by force or by bullying. The best way to sell anything is through inspiring and romancing the subconscious mind by setting the proper mood and feeling. It starts here with the word. We can talk to you, but you believe what you say far more than what anyone else ever says. If you say you are poor, limited, or on a fixed income, too old, too tired, can't do it, so be it. Your subconscious mind will back you up by having you focus on anything that is evidence of that. If you begin to say you feel rich over and over and get the feeling, your subconscious mind will back you up by having you focus on all evidence of that. Life is really very simple. You see on the outside, whatever it is you feel on the inside. I feel rich. So this book is fabulous. It's super easy, super simple, good read. A Course in Prosperity by Jacob Glass. You can get it on Amazon. It's full of swear words and typos, and I love it to pieces, love it to bits. So I really, if I can give you a gift from this conversation, this has really supported me in healing my beliefs around prosperity and leaning into a new experience of it. And I pray that it can also serve you, because you deserve it, because you are it. I love you.
Beautiful. Thank you, Jesse. You know, in the Psalms, in Psalms 86, it says, "Thou, Lord, art good and loving and abundant in your loving kindness towards us." Now, we know that that is the great law of life. When we say the Lord, that's the law that's operating in our own. And so we want to look at that and see what is operating in our own life. Are we coming from a place, again, of expansion and openness? Are we demonstrating abundance in what we say and what we think and what we do? And if you're not, it's okay. It's okay. You can begin right here and right now, through your breath, by knowing that you're special and unique, that you're magnificent, that you're made out of something incredible, and that you can start having what you want. But it's an inside job, again. But it's also a loving discipline, our spiritual practice and our spiritual work. Many of you who know me know that, some 30-something years ago, I was bankrupt. I was bankrupt in my pocketbook, and I was bankrupt in my countenance. And I had to learn that there was a lie that was operating inside of me. And I often say, if I can do this, so can you. And I've had very good teachers, and I've been a very dutiful student. And it's not about the outer, again, it's not about what you acquire or amass. It is about how you live. And it's about how you think about yourself. It's about what you believe about yourself in terms of what's operating inside of you. But when you realize at your core that you're good, that you are good, that you are worthy. When you have released the idea of unforgiveness for yourself, of guilt and blame and all of that, when you let go of that and your focus and your attention is now on what wants to come out from beautiful you, from magnificent you, from creative you, from amazing you, when you really do that work and that excavation, your life is going to change. It's going to get better and better and better and better. And we always want to be able to just be in that field that we're continuing to generate and be generative and be kind to others and be loving. And you will get the ideas and it will come to you. So there's an excavation that's happening and there's some acceptance that's happening. We do that again through the practices of gratitude and forgiveness. But I got to tell you, life is good and life is better because you're in it. You have a right and a reason to be here. So give your gift, allow yourself to just continue to open up and just watch as more and more and more gets to pour out through you in your life, in your world, in all of your affairs. That's what I have to say. Thank you all.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Reverend Jesse, Reverend Candace. You're both amazing. We're so blessed to be able to learn from you. We have time for just one or two brief questions. If anyone has a question for Reverend Jesse or Reverend Candace, please raise your hand. No hands. I think you were all very clear. Thank you so much. It's really fun to be able to get to doing ministers again, and you two are just amazing.
If I may make one last comment, I'd like to just really remind everybody, since we're all here in a spiritual space, I feel like we could talk spiritual practices. And one of the most valuable spiritual practices, prosperity practices I have, and let me tell you something, it has completely transformed my finances, is the spiritual practice of tithing. So I tithe 1/10 of every penny that comes in front of me to a person, place, or institution that feeds me spiritually. And before, I always did the practice, but I didn't really know why. And to be honest, it was kind of a superstitious practice of mine. I was afraid that if I didn't do it, something might happen. And I was afraid not to. And so I stopped doing it. And I just didn't see much like fluctuation with my finances. I just didn't feel like I had enough of it. But when I started doing it again, and this was months ago, I started doing it again, I was really inspired to see such a quick transformation in just my financial flow, because now I get it. Something just clicked in me that I offer 1/10 of every penny that comes into me to where I am spiritually fed, because it is all about my spiritual well-being. I honor, that is my way of honoring the universal flow, honoring the people that have given me the blessing of learning the spiritual practices that have supported me in feeling free and peaceful and empowered in my life, in my relationships, and in my finances. And, even if initially it feels like you're doing it begrudgingly, I promise you, and this is something that I spoke about and Reverend Candace spoke about, your only person you have anything to prove to is yourself. So I invite you to do an experiment. Tithe for 6 months and see if you can't prove to yourself that this is an effective form of giving. And what you realize is, once you start doing this practice, you'll have more and more and more to tithe. Now, I look forward to tithing because I can't wait to see how much more I get to tithe the next time. And it really is a practice of abundance and generosity. You are proclaiming to the universe that I am abundant and I am grateful for, and I know what my source is. I know what my source is, and I honor that. And it's a really beautiful practice I encourage everyone to do. And please don't hear me say that you have to give 10% of your money to me or Reverend Candace or Inspire. This is anyone that feeds you spiritually. I don't care if it is a waitress that is serving you in a restaurant that said something that really moved you, your yoga instructor, an author of a book that is just rocking your world right now. But I do think that it is valuable to acknowledge and uplift those that feed us spiritually through tithing. And so if Inspire is that source for you, if you come to Inspire, you log on and you're moved by what you hear here, I highly encourage you to give, not just on Giving Tuesday, but give whatever you can, because it's such a valuable resource, a spiritual community that teaches the truth, that reminds you of who you are, a space that gives you an opportunity to connect with other like-minded people who are also using spiritual principles to transform not just their lives, but the planet. My solution to racism, my solution to sexism, my solution to misogyny, to all of this is to raise my children with love on a spiritual foundation. That is my solution, is I am going to ensure that at least 2 people are walking a path of love. That is my solution. That is how I am doing it. And I'm not sure where I was going with that, other than if it weren't for communities like this, I wouldn't know that that's the solution, is teach children to love themselves, and we are going to see more love on this damn planet. And so thank you, Inspire, for being a source of inspiration for me. And, Reverend Candace and me and Reverend Amina, yes, but Reverend Alfreda, we get an offering every time we teach. And so I just like to start the habit of giving that, started rolling by offering my my love offering that I get for speaking, to go back to Inspire as an offering for Giving Tuesday, just to start the flow going. And I'm just so appreciative and grateful for all of you. Yeah. So there's some coin to start the flow. Let's open up the valves, and because this is a space that should thrive. There's absolutely no reason for this community not to thrive, because we are a thriving community full of people who thrive. So we are prosperity. We are prosperity. Thank you.
That's it. And when we're proving it to ourselves, you live to give. Prove it. You live to give until you give to live. It works. It absolutely works. And whatever that means to you, don't put a crimp in your thought process around it. Don't contract. Just stay open. I'm telling you, I've written checks. Whenever I feel constricted, I get out my checkbook. Works every time. It has never failed me.
Every time.
Every time. Every single time.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you both so much. And thank you, everyone, for participating in Giving Tuesday and sharing this time with us. Luke, you had a question about what do you do to nourish your soul? A brief answer from either Reverend Jesse or Reverend Candace, please.
A brief answer on how to nourish my soul. Luke, you're funny. You're handsome. Look how handsome you look today, by the way. That's one thing. That is one thing I consciously have changed the way I talk to myself, and I make that part of my practice, and that's very nourishing to me. From like looking in the mirror and just saying like how sexy I am, I talk to the cells in my body, and I just remind myself that my cells are brilliant, that they know exactly how to replenish and nurture themselves, that the food I eat goes into nourishing and nurturing this fabulous vessel that carries me around to have more and more experiences of love and light. I write lists and remind myself of how magnificent I am. But for me, like putting pen on paper really helps, doing it in the morning. So I create a container, a platform to build that day on. I literally write proof of prosperity in my life. I write proof of love in my life. I write proof of, I am a private detective gathering evidence to prove a case. I write that life is prosperous, that people love me. I have a list that say things people say to me all the time. And I write things that I'm ready to hear from people and things that loving things people actually do say to me. But it's work. Again, it's like loving discipline. We have to discipline our mind to look for the good. And then what we begin to experience is more of that. And it starts by just reminding ourselves of the truth. All of the experiences we have that feel unloving, that feel draining, the source is often a belief that we are not worthy to feel good, to believe that. Even if it's like logistically, you're like, I know I'm worthy, I know all this stuff. There is often like an energetic or a subconscious belief that's active there. And so in order to heal that, to release that, to let that go, I just counter it with loving affirmations. And I know it sounds simple, it might sound too simple, but let me tell you something, it works. So it's just that practice, a committed practice of reminding myself of my value, and it's very nurturing. Reverend Candace, I'm sure you have something to add to that.
Well, the key, you just said the key, which is a committed practice. Committed practice of loving kindness, gratitude, forgiveness. It is not difficult, you guys. It's not difficult to do. It does require discipline, but it's not difficult or hard. Life is not hard. It isn't. And we make it hard sometimes, but we're here to let your light shine. Allow yourself to have what it is you want. But it does require the cleaning out. So just be willing to just let that go. Be willing to be with your fabulous self. God and you are one. Love and you are one. Its life is your life. One.
Amen. Thank you both. Thank you both so much. So if you would like to make a donation to Inspire, you can do so at inspirespiritualcommunity.org/donate. We have several gifts from our amazing sponsors for you. These are for our top donors each day. Today, tomorrow, and Tuesday will get to choose their own thank you gift. We have art by Reverend Alfreda. We have a counseling session with Reverend Candace. We have a gift package from the Fed Collective. We have gift cards from Gary's, Targets, and Penzies. We have amazing summits from the Nature Summit, the Best Year of Your Life, and Mindfulness and Compassion Week. So much good stuff to nourish you, mind, body, and spirit. And so please give with an open heart. And everyone who donates these 3 days will be entered into a drawing and you'll also have an opportunity to win one of these wonderful prizes, and you will get to support your spiritual community. So thank you for that. Thank you for giving with an open heart. Thank you for your attention today. What a glorious service. We are so blessed, so grateful. And with that, we will thank you and bid you a lovely Sunday, a lovely week. Continued blessings.